Blessed be everyone. Hello and welcome to a special edition, a wrap-up edition of I almost said pro wrestling talk. Sorry, Black Magic Talk. We're here to kind of wrap up the season. Of course, 2024 has been very interesting. We've had a lot of guests, a lot of wonderful guests, and I know we've both learned a lot of new things because of these guests. And of course, all the fixins that went in between there, shows that we did tarot. Oh, shoot. I forgot my tarot cards. Oh, well. Sorry. It slips my mind. I'm so busy nowadays. So anyway, how was your Yule, Matt? And is it still going on? No, it isn't. Usually they do it from like the 21st to the 27th. So depending on who, what kind of pagan Wiccan you are, I guess.
Yeah. Well, for Norse, it's 12 days. So you 20th till New Year's. But yeah, we've had a few people pass away during Yule. So
no.
No unexpected. It was elderly. My grandpa, who was 90. So and then my neighbors
on the other side, right? This is not the vamp, right?
No, not vampire. No, this was but and then my neighbor's mom passed away the next day, so it was weird. And I got the death card in tarot both days, and I was like, holy smokes, that's
so rare. It's so rare for physical death. I mean,
I know
it's always about, something ending abruptly and then, beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the only time I've ever had that in my whole life happen. So it was profound. It was unexpected. I mean, he had been on hospice, so we sort of expected it, but it did just happen out of the blue though. So but it's better. He it was a little rough towards the end, so, and everyone got to say goodbye and everything, so that's always good.
I think the burning question though, Matt, is did Odin bless your son?
Yeah, definitely. He's so humble. It's nice. He couldn't even get a list out of him. So it was like, okay.
That's right. You were telling me that the other day.
Right. He wanted a surprise.
What he really wanted.
Yep. It was a surprise. So, yeah, surprise.
Surprise.
But we had fun, and it been a little weird, but good.
Okay. Odin was
yours?
very good. Yeah, Odin was very good to my son as well. My son wanted a plastic marble roller, and I bought one off of Finger Hut. And as soon as we got it out of the bag, one of the pieces broke, and we couldn't glue it back together. I'm like, oh, great. Cheap stuff. What can you say, right? But we also did get him the game Monopoly, and he's kicked my dad's butt the entire time he's playing.
Whoa.
Yeah, he plays that Monopoly Go. My son does, and he is super good at it. Oh my gosh! Every time I look down, he's got more money than Carter's got peanuts. Okay. I mean, yeah, it's and then my dad's like, we're playing Monopoly, and I'm like, who's winning? He's like, no, Steph, come on. Who do you think is playing?
That's awesome. Little strategy.
Right? Yeah. He even wrote how much my son had, like $6,000 in Monopoly money. He's like, he bankrupts him every time, Sorry, I had to pause there. But yeah, like my son is I stunk at Monopoly, and that's why I'm not rich. But no, I could not. I always lost my shirt in Monopoly, so to speak.
I would do good, but then I would lose at the end.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I was better at like Trouble and Sorry. I was better at that stuff. And Uno, I was good at that stuff.
Have you ever played Stratego?
Yes.
I love Stratego.
I wasn't good at it. Battleship. Did you ever play Battleship?
Oh yeah. We have Battleship still, but the pieces
we used to have at the one daycare center I used to go to. It was like a summer daycare while my mom worked, of course, and we would always have these Battleship like competitions to see who could win. Like you play this person against that person and that person against that person. I actually won the chess one, or at least took in like second or third in the chess tournament. There you go, tournament. I couldn't think of the word. Yeah, like that was so interesting that, yeah, I was kind of good at Battleship. I was better at chess. And now I probably couldn't play the game now to save my behind, even if I was good at it, right?
Yeah, I always wanted to play TOEFL or Viking chess. I haven't yet, though.
I never even heard of that.
Yeah, it's apparently a very old game.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure it originates with Norse, but it's a very old game.
I was going to say, because the Vikings, the football team, they are in better chance of going to the Super Bowl than the Steelers. Sorry, guys. But my man is from Minnesota, so of course I told him that I promised that if the Vikings go to the Super Bowl, I would redo the Steelers song that they did for the Steelers when the Steelers went to the Super Bowl. And it doesn't matter if they win or lose. I don't care about that. But the fact that if they go, because they're 14-2 right now. I was watching the game. Come on, yeah, the Steelers have Russell Wilson, and he couldn't make it in Seattle. What makes you think he's going to make it in the Steelers? Ugh. Anyway, but yeah, I love the Norse stuff. In fact, I was playing a romantic game. It's like you read these stories and they're romance stories, and I play a Valkyrie, and my man, he's a son of a goddess. Yeah, it's really freaking cool. But otherwise, I like the food. I think that was the food, right? I made the filling, and my dad and I made the mashed potatoes together, so to speak. Because we buy like pre-mashed potatoes and then we just stick them in the microwave. So I say we always do it together. But I made the filling with the ingredients, of course. And then my dad, of course, did the ham, because that's like a tradition. We always have the ham. So, but yeah, I ate all the mashed potatoes. My dad ate all the filling. We still have ham because my son loves macaroni and cheese with ham, or eggs and ham. He really likes ham. And I got a hair on me, man. Anyway,
not a rabbit.
Not a rabbit. No, we want a mind. I'm always picking hair off my son's jacket. Like, oh man, I'm gonna be bald headed tomorrow. All the hair I picked off of his jacket. But no, like, as I said earlier, we were talking offline. I'm not the one. I kind of felt like this was happening. My man and I were watching A Very Pagan Christmas, and they were talking about how to get pagans to convert to Christianity, they would put their symbolisms and what they would use to worship in the coming of the winter and the coming renewal of the sun. So everything you can think of that is Christmas was pagan first. And that's why I was explaining to my man that that's why, oh, geez. Now I'm drawing a blank. Jehovah's Witnesses. That's why they don't celebrate anything, because that's all pagan. In their eyes, that's all pagan. That's all evil. I used to have a Jehovah's Witness friend, so she told me this.
Yeah, I mean, Christmas was illegal in America initially.
Yeah. Initially, yep. And it really gave a breakdown of, like, traditions that they used to decorate the tree outside, but someone got the bright idea to bring the tree in and decorate it. And that wasn't really a symbolism of Jesus. It was just a symbolism of the pagans and what they would do during solstice. So it was really interesting. And then they talked about the origins of Santa Claus. And that was Odin. It was Odin, and then after we watched that thing, I felt an overwhelming sense that Odin was standing there watching us watch it. And then, he felt it too. And he's like, I think that we're being visited by Odin. I was like, well, that's good, I guess. I was kind of flabbergasted when he said it. I was kind of like, okay, I'll add a statue of Odin to my list. And I bought one. And it won't be here till January 1st. I think that's Odin also testing me. It was supposed to come like Sunday, and it's now going to be here January 1st. But no, that's cool. I think that him coming into my life is very needed because sometimes I need to be tested. Along with Hecate, who also likes to give you little tests. But I think that, this is for the better. And if Odin can make my life better, I'm all for it. I also had
Crossroads deity.
Right. And I also had one of the ladies I watch just blurted right out of her mouth. I went, holy crap, how did she know that? She's like, one of my listeners, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, wait, how did she know that? So I asked her online, I'm like, how did you know that? She said, Spirit told me. I was like, okay. That was directed right at me. And I was like, damn, Odin.
Yeah, that's not the first time I've heard that over Yule. Someone else was saying that all of a sudden their Alexa said some pretty weird stuff. And I heard it and I was like, whoa, that's pretty interesting.
Well, because she never usually is correct about, she'll give general readings and they usually don't pertain to me. So this was just kind of like out of the blue. She's like, oh, by the way, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, whoa, how did she know that? I'll tell you offline what it was. But it was freaky because I was sitting right here. I think I was watching a show. I was watching one of my shows. And I come out into my office to do that. No, I think, yeah. No, we were supposed to have pro wrestling talk, but we didn't because we're moving to a new channel. That's the other thing I wanted to do when we actually wrap up. Yeah. Shameless plug. Shameless plug. We're moving to a new channel. So Pro Wrestling Talk is moving to a new channel. Link will be in the description field. I'll put that in there. But it's just a channel for gaming. Because I know a couple of guys, Angel and them, wanted to do gaming where they just sit there and they talk about games. Like it's like side by side. Like he's playing the game and you watch, or the game will be over here where you are. I know Snow Himbo is also wanting to do that. So it's going to be interesting. It's like for music and stuff. So I'm guessing Jesse Jett is going to be on it too. So all these people from my INN channel, not my channel, but I mean, from the INN channel are, making a new channel for pro wrestling and also for music and gaming. So it's going to be very interesting. I might put my other show on it just to see what Indy thinks about that. But we are here to wrap up this season. We're going to start with you, Matt, because I'm very interested in what you learned. We'll start with questions and then we'll give our answers. So the first question is, what have you learned from our show?
Oh, man. I mean, I wrote down the list of all the guests that we've had on because, I've learned so much. Sonia Smith was our first and our last guest and our next guest, coincidentally. So that's awesome. And we've talked a lot about, I think, haunting stuff with her. And I definitely heard some stories that, I had a few of my own, but they're definitely profound. And you would expect that from the old world, or from having war happen right next to you. Definitely. Yeah, we've had some interesting conversations with her. And then we had your teacher, Sandra Inman, on. And actually, I learned the most about her offline with the tapping. And if you guys haven't checked it out, that's in her description. And that helped me a lot. I didn't actually do it. I just listened to it. And it still had a really profound effect. That's a big thing with initiation is being able to listen. Because it's so easy to think when you're just hearing what someone says that you're absorbing it enough. But once you learn to listen, which my teacher, Michael Kelly, who we also had on, he really taught me, you're not listening, you're waiting to speak. Listen. And so once I actually got to listen, it changed everything. And so that's been my role a lot on this, is just listening to the guests that we've had on. And we've had a lot of guests. Christopher Allen Smith, I'm going to talk about the Beatles a little bit with him, which I like to bring the fun parts up, I guess. But,
I was say, big Beatles fan right here, big Beatles fan.
Yeah, and that was great. I mean, little things like that, getting interact with some of my favorite authors in a way that I never anticipated has been amazing. We had Lothar Teppen on talking about animism and the shamanic path he had met his wife through, and that was really beautiful. Victoria Bartovich, some sensual side of the things that we don't usually get to talk about. So that was a really interesting experience. And then not only that, but her talking about connecting with the land in a way that I didn't expect from her, because I didn't know her that well. I had taken classes with her and stuff, but that had never got brought up. So that was cool. Dave Lee, which unfortunately we had to edit a little bit on the YouTube channel, but that's on Rumble, and that got a lot of views on YouTube too. I wrote down the amount of views. That was our first big show, almost 10K. Actually, no, I take that back. Sonia Smith too. But anyways,
I had a lot of comments. Well, not a lot, but I had a few comments. Oh, I love Sonia, and I said, "Oh, the feeling is mutual."
I know.
She has become such a big part of my life as well, because she's also teaching me how to be a psychic medium. And with my practicing, it's getting better, so much better. And I'm just learning to, calm myself. And as you said, listen. Like, I ask them questions, but, like, I listen to the answers, and actually, it's like a real conversation you're having with that person, that you actually listen to those answers. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, tuning in is such a profound feeling. And you even get that through Sonia's books. I've read a little bit of two of her books. I haven't finished them actually, but she's got some of her ghost stories in there. And what's cool is she puts pictures too. So you actually get to see the place and then read about it. And it gives you an eerie feeling. It's awesome. She's quite a good author. And I really want to check out her Raven Lenormand. I have not done that yet, but I do plan on, because it's interesting adding another. It's been nice having different tarot and divination that we've had on the show, because it does.
Cassie, when Cassie gave me her tarot, I was flabbergasted. I was expecting her to be like, "Oh, this is gonna happen, that's gonna happen." I'm like, "Holy crap!" But
most definitely.
And again, Sonia's totally blew me out of the water, especially when the black lady came up. It was Hecate. Hecate was letting me know she was with me, and that I could talk to her just like I can talk to my man. It's that physical there. I don't have to like, is she there? I don't know. Calling Hecate.
Exactly. Learning to trust yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for Sonia, I think that trust in myself, because, she said you were on track for the psychic stuff. You're very talented. And even when we did during Samhain, we did those readings, like I could feel your Vampa. I could really feel him. And the heartache that he spent the last few days of his life. I felt literally like someone was pulling my heart out. And oh boy, I've never felt that feeling before. And I hope I never do again, because that was pretty, I almost like I wanted to cry because of that. Like I really wanted to just break down and just cry. Yeah, that was really emotional. But it was good. It was good that I was picking up on him.
Yep. And then we had Chris Travers on and got to talk about food, which made us both hungry. But I'm glad to see his YouTube channel is doing well. I've attended several of his premieres, which are always fun. And it's got my son into cooking, which is cool. You always hope that traditions passed down. I don't share my spirituality necessarily with him because I think, as we both talked about, we want our children to be able to pick their own way. But for him to get all interested in cooking is really cool, and that's helped a lot. So I was glad.
But I think I mean, we could kind of tell them because my son would say, "Mom, what are you doing?" And I would explain, "I'm doing a whatever. I'm doing Yule, the Yule thing that I recorded." He asked me, "Why are you doing that?" I said, "Because there's people out there that may not know what to do or how to get started with this whole thing." And Sandra really can get started. Her link will be in the description today. But I mean, the fact that I started and I was like, well, I don't really know what to do during Yule or Samhain or Imbolc or whatever. I didn't even know if I was saying them right. So when I come out here, I have my altar right beside me. So that was just for people who, they just want to say a few words during Yule. Maybe they want to repeat it because I don't know how people may do all 7 days. They may just do the 21st. They may do the 25th. Whatever feels good to you, I say. And a lot of our guests have mentioned that as well. I was so surprised when a lot of them, not a lot of them, a few of them were saying, like, I was a Satanist first. And I was like, hey! And how'd that go for you? Well, at least I was thinking that, But, yeah, so many paths have been taken. Whatever your path is, um, going back to my son, I mean, my ex takes him to church and I tell him what I'm doing. He has his own way with his own energy. So, I think the curiosity will be there. And then, yeah, at the end, he has to like choose what he wants to do, whether he wants to follow both paths. He can follow both paths. I have no problem with that whatsoever. But the fact that he'll stick up for his mom, who's a witch.
Yeah, and my son and I read Yule Saga every night for the 12 nights, so that's cool to include him like that. And yeah, you're right. We had Carly Stunek and Paul Frederick who were talking about being a Satanist, and that was interesting and unexpected. And I think that's the most fun parts, are the unexpected parts when we have our guests on. Um, yeah, and yeah, we had a lot of guests on this year, and I feel incredibly blessed to have had so many different people. And yeah, to have such diverse episodes. It's you'd asked me to write up a classification, and I'm still thinking about how exactly to categorize Black Magic Talk because it's been so diverse. It's like, wow. I mean, you could just say magic, but I'm trying to think of something catchy, and to the point. But it's kind of difficult because we've had a lot of different guests on,
A
and we
lot
talked
of
about
different paths. Yeah. People
absolutely.
have walked a lot of paths, and that's okay. That's good. The more knowledge you have, I say, the better it is because when you walk your path, this this part of it may not be right for you, so you try something else. I can't say that I have sort of liked the Norse gods. I was more for like Freya and stuff, but I think Odin has really changed it for the better because it's like, okay, well, let's test this. And it's almost like he's picking up where Hecate kind of left off with the shadow work. And yeah, Hecate does do shadow work, but it's especially with, my mother and stuff, it's really, he's really testing me. And, you don't need to go after her. She's not going to give you what you need. Other people will do that for her, but you need to stop chasing after it because it's not worth it. You've known all your life that she was never going to get any better. And the reason why she abused me is because she was abused. I guess she was abused when she was young by her mother, though my grandmother never raised a hand to me or did anything like that.
Yeah, I've talked to so many people who are all about breaking that generational curse. It's very, very important, and I think that's the age that we're in right now. That's what it's all about in a lot of ways. Don't
And I
pass
have
that
broken
trauma.
that. I have broken that. My son will never know that kind of abuse, not while I'm around, not while I'm alive. Um, and rightfully so. My son and I are very, very close, and that's how it should be. I can't see doing what my mom did to him because I know how much I hated it. So, but yeah, like I said, with Odin, coming into my life, and I mean, Hecate is still there, Kali is still there, Osiris and Isis are still there, but they've kind of, you know, let Odin kind of take the lead and test me so that I'm ready for whatever comes next. What is the saying? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? That's
Yeah,
how I feel Odin is going to be.
yeah, Friedrich Nietzsche. That's appropriate. And it's interesting. I've had another friend that went from Hecate to Odin, and I'm sure there's people that go the other way around. It's just that underlying principle of what you need in your life right now that will find you, whether you're ready or you're even aware of what it is that's interacting with you. But usually, you find out what it is by doing a little research. Like we had Cassie say, she heard a name, and all of a sudden she kept hearing Freya, 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 and so okay, well and she found oh gosh, I can't remember the name of that Valkyrie, Vor, I believe, Vor, Vor, and all of a sudden she found out that was a real deity, and she's like, whoa, that's interesting. So that's always cool to hear. And you're right. I mean, you don't have to choose a path just because you hear about it, but it's neat to find out different ways, just like experiencing different traditions.
Yeah, it is neat how our guests really have molded and shaped us, and I'm glad for that because I mean, there's other paths out there, and you have to kind of keep your mind open to these people who are, I would say, almost experts in their fields. We had a lot of experts come on. And teach us new things. Like there's things that I wouldn't have even thought of to and I think this lady that I was talking about offline, that spouted out something that was very true. I would like to have her on. Her name is Robin. So maybe I'll talk to her, try to get her on our show. But anyway, yeah, like I think in answering that question real fast, I just honestly can't thank our guests enough. Thank you guys so much. You guys have completely taught me that there's all kind of different paths, but whatever is right for you is right for you. And Victoria and her talk and about the sensual side of Wicca and paganism, I actually found it to be kind of fascinating because I am in a very committed relationship with my man, and we're always looking for new and exciting ways. So I think that's a good balance there. And like I said, we're going to try to get more guests on. We're going to have some repeat guests, I'm sure. We're going to have Sonia Smith on the 26th at 4 p.m. my time. It'll be 1 o'clock your time, Matt.
Yeah, it'll really
it would be on a Sunday. It's the 26th. We're going to do a little Imok session. So look for that at the end of January. So again, we already have a bunch of guests that we're going to think about, having one. And it's not even 2025 yet. So, stay tuned, everyone, because it's going to get very interesting.
Yeah, hold on to your pants.
Yeah, on the seat of your, on the edge of your seat. Keep it on the edge of your seat. So the last question I have, because we're not going to go too long, I do have to put my son to bed, is what have you learned from our show? What have you learned from our show? You want to go first,
Mm.
Matt?
No, you can. You can if you're ready.
Okay. So what I learned is that in 2024, like, and what I mean by this is, what have you learned spiritually? How have you become more spiritually? How I become more spiritual is that no matter what, there are people with experiences that are different from mine, but yet also very similar to mine. I didn't find Wicca until I was divorced from my ex-husband when I was 22. And, Wicca kind of found me. I had always been fascinated by magic, whether it's the magician magic or it was the real magic that we do here in Wicca. I've always been fascinated by that stuff. I always found that to be pretty cool and a lot of fun. And I just think that Wicca found me, in my time of need, because I just didn't feel the spiritual, from the Christianity. I just didn't feel that spiritual pull anymore. And it just wasn't for me anymore. So when I started in Wicca, it was, still kind of new to me. I was only like 22, 23. And I still didn't know a lot of stuff, but I had a guy give me a bunch of books, and that's where I started. I started with a bunch of books and just reading them. And that's how I, spiritually growth. I grow all the time, and hearing other people's stories helps me to also grow in more ways than one. So I think there's a lot of people who have influenced me to, and just from our meeting, Matt, meeting you and starting the show has really spiritually, propelled me forwards. Because when we first started this show, I was working with Hecate, and now my man and I were sitting there and we're like, I feel like someone's watching us, and it was Odin. And I had known about Odin. I had known about Freya, and I knew most of the Norse gods. So I think that's why he sort of was like, all right, she understands it. Let's go. You want to get ready to do this or that? Well, you're going to do shadow work first. And I wasn't really sure I wanted to work with Hecate, or didn't think I needed to work with Hecate on my shadow work. I guess I do. Odin definitely was like, well, this needs to be tested, that needs to be tested, so that you can be where you need to be. And like that lady said, which I was kind of like, what did she just say? I had to like rewind it a couple of times. I'm like, holy crap. So I really have grown spiritually, and I'm going to continue to keep growing regardless. Any new guest that comes on, I'm just going to, or our repeat guests, they will still continue to teach me. We had, oh gosh, I forgot his name now, Daniel. He came on and I learned so much about yoga. I thought yoga was just exercise, or just, stretching, you can help with your stretch, get you more flexible and stuff. No. The runes and yoga and that whole implementation and putting them together, I was like, well, dang, I didn't even know you could put those two together. Well, you learn every day, right? And more because of our guests. So I'm just so happy and so glad that we have this show. As Matt told me, I was actually shocked that we actually have a bunch of people who really like what we're talking about, and we have repeat watchers on YouTube, and I'm sure on Rumble. We're up to, I think it's 37 followers on Rumble right now. Yes, 37 Rumble followers on Black Magic Talk. We were at 30, or no, we were at 28. We were stuck at 28 for a while, and now it's just been like one big, community has come out, and now we're at 37 followers. So thank you guys so much for helping. We're at 52,000 followers on YouTube. So I mean, it's amazing. Both my channels are doing so well. And of course, Pro Wrestling Talk has a bunch of followers who are very, they like to stick around. They like to talk pro wrestling. So, I'm very blessed in this area, and I hope that Odin will test me that I need to do this or that. As my man says, I need to make it all perfect. But we'll go with that. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, doing a little research before all the guests come on, and sometimes reading their books. In the case of Paul Frederick, and learning the new rune method that Eirik Westcoat had, was all life changing. I mean. And then watching the episode again and listening to it again, because I don't think the first time through, when you're sitting there talking, that you don't hear everything that they're saying in the same way as when you're in the audience yourself. So I would go through and listen to all the episodes again, and sometimes several times. I remember, Dave Lee and Paul Frederick, I listened to their episodes 3 or 4 times, and I'm sitting there going, wow, I didn't pick that up the first 2 times. And sometimes there's just so much more to something. It's like reading a book. You read a book, and then you come back 2 or 3 years later and you read the book, and you swear that it changed, because there's so much that you didn't grasp in the same way as when you give it another listen or read. So, I mean, we've had some absolute world-class experts, and if 2025 can be anything like this year, I mean, what an inaugural year. I'm so proud of us for being able to keep this going. Episode, is it 36 now, I think?
Yep, 36.
And and you never know when something all of a sudden sparks. We've already got a lot of followers, and I'm grateful for, we had an episode on being grateful too. So this isn't exactly that, but I just can't help but being grateful, because that is mind blowing. And we just wanted to test the water. We're like, oh, I remember meeting you on Twitter, and sure, let's try a podcast out. Maybe it'll take off, and wow,
It's been more than our wildest dreams.
Absolutely.
I really liked having Mark Niekamp. Sorry, blah, 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 blah,
that was a very interesting conversation. Absolutely. And yes. I got to say, Dr. John Sharp talking about philosophy.
Dr. John Sharp
was mind-boggling.
Yes.
He is so learned, and that was great. And Mark Niekamp was an interesting conversation. That was, again, very unexpected.
He's just so full of life. If you see him when he was talking, his eyes would light up. I mean, he was just so full of energy, and I kept going, man, where does he get this energy from? Because I'm always exhausted, because I'm always pulling double duty sometimes. But oh my God, the way he would talk about something, and it could have been like, oh, energy or cord cutting, and his eyes would light up, and I'm like, dang. No, but he was a super sweet guy, very passionate about, he was very passionate. And that's good that you guys have passion out there for Wicca and paganism, and that we can share these ideas with you and our guests with you, maybe give them some more exposure, because, I mean, if they don't get exposure, no one's going to know about them. And that's kind of how I feel like this show has done for 2024, has really propelled some of our people to get more exposure out there. Their links would always be in the description field, so you can learn more about them. And then, I'm sure they have seen an uptick also. Like I said, I've seen a couple of clips where people are like, oh, I love Sonia. I had one viewer on YouTube ask, can anyone learn magic? I said, absolutely, yes. All you have to do is watch our show. I can do those little, if you like what I did for Yule, I can do that for Imbolc. I can do that for Ostara. I can do that for Midsummer's solstice. I can do that for any holiday you wish, as long as you like it. Because if you're going to continue to watch it and you need that kind of basis where if I say the words and you do the motions, then that's gift enough to me that you enjoy that. And it's something that we can both share spiritually. not just Matt and myself, but also my audience and me can share that love and that spiritual, I can't talk today, spirituality that we all share when we watch shows like this. And to be honest, there's not really a lot of shows out there about Wicca and paganism. So, hey, if we're the pioneers and we get more people interested, because I want my audience to not be sheepish about this. If you feel like you are being called to do a show like me and Matt are, please, by all means, we need more Wicca and pagan shows. And trust me, you can use AI to do anything. So, I was thinking the other day of doing my favorite wrestler, pretending like we were doing an interview and it would be like his voice. Like, he would have AI answers and stuff. Like, and I would pretend to interview him, only there's a catch. There's always a catch. It's like some kind of legal issue. You can't use a celebrity's name, blah, blah, blah. I would have to get permission from his sons. And I don't know his sons, but I have loved to have done that though. Because I think my audience would be like, I would be like, in the beginning, ask them, hey, did you ever wonder what a 2024 or 2025 interview would be like with Kurt Hennig? Because he's not with us anymore. So, and I was going to do the whole, I ask a question and then pause and then the AI would, answer it in his voice.
Yeah, and that's only going to get more sophisticated. I had a friend that was playing.
It can happen. It probably will happen.
So you can now input books into AI and it will generate its own podcast with the information. And it's a little clunky, but you can tell
serious?
that, yes. You can tell that it's going to be something in the future, the next maybe 1-2 years. It's going to be bizarre.
Well, the thing I could see, like, if you were doing something like you making the celebrity look silly, but this would be like an interview with Kurt Hennig. So, like, even if it's AI, it would still be, in Kurt's voice, and it would still kind of be like me interviewing Kurt, right?
Well, if they can do if Leonard Skinner played Metallica, this is what it would sound like. Then I don't see what the problem would be necessarily.
Well, and like I said, to his sons, if his sons ever watched my show, to Hank and Joe, what I would say to that, your father is my hero. I would do anything to, talk to your dad. Unfortunately, that's a little difficult, but, if we could have like a great interview, like I would ask him questions about this and ask him questions about that and old time wrestling, like I would ask him, what was it like in Portland, that kind of thing. Or what was it like in the AWA? What was it like to wrestle Nick Bockwinkel? That kind of thing.
What pranks do people not know that you pulled?
Your best ribs. He'd be like, how much time you got? The real Kurt Hennig, I mean. But that's something that we could also do here, though we wouldn't really have to do AI. We actually got it to do it in the 3D world of listening to all these guests and them sharing their stories and how they got into paganism or Wicca, what makes them tick, and that's how I would want to do it with, if I ever did do that. It would have to get more sophisticated and they'd have to do wrestlers' voices at this point.
Wow, it's keep going in that direction. So
yeah, I mean, they probably will. You could probably have Roman Reigns sing happy birthday to you or something down the line, which actually would be kind of cool. But I wanted to do something not only for my man, but also for Kurt. I wanted to do that Steeler fight song for my man, not fight song, but the Steeler Super Bowl song. But also, I wanted to sing Rap is Crap on Rumble. But I can't find a karaoke version. So what I think I'm going to have to do is literally sing it in a higher octane than he sings it. Because I'm a girl, But I would like to do that. I just couldn't find a karaoke version of Rap is Crap. But hey, like our guests, you live and you learn and you get all these ideas and whatever's right for you. Right. So, there's stuff in the works for 2025, guys. We have not yet even peeked at our potential. There's so
I
many more
know.
guests that I want to get
Toby
on.
Chappell's got another book coming out this year, so I bet he might be.
So a repeat guest.
And then I've been talking to
hear. Wasn't he? Was it him or who was it that was reading some from his new book about Odin, which was crazy funny?
Oh, that was. I think that was Christopher Allen Smith.
Yes, I would like to have him back on too. To maybe he would be. If he's done with it, maybe he would like to do a little insert, a little taste of what he's got in the works. But yes, Toby as well. Once his new book comes out, we'll have him back on, and he can read inserts from his book, give a little taste, just that little taste, because it makes people want to go and buy the book, and if that's what we can do for Toby, I mean, goddess bless. Right?
And I've been talking to people that sell like crafts and stuff to maybe get their business going online, because they've been asking, what do I do? Single parents and stuff. And I thought, well, right. If you want to do
and that's how the exposure comes into it.
Yeah.
So we get people more exposure, and we help them out, and in turn they help us out. So it's like, quid pro quo. Yeah, win-win. Yeah, so
you were going to say about what you've got going on with your channel changing?
Yeah, so really quick, this is a little bit of a, we've only been on for 46 minutes, and that's because him and I were blabbing at the beginning. So I apologize that this is not an hour long, guys, but I didn't think we would go this long. But of course, we both have gift of gab now that we have guests on. And so I just want to let everyone know that if you do watch Pro Wrestling Talk was not on last week because we are moving to a new channel. The links for that will be in the description field. It's a new INN channel that is more for, for music and gaming and stuff. And then, of course, wrestling. I might be changing my name of the Kurt Hennig was the best, changed my mind. Maybe to just something like Kurt Hennig was the best, or Kurt Hennig was perfect, or something like that. Like nobody beats Kurt Hennig, nobody. Something like that. I'm thinking, to keep it into the Kurt Hennig theme. But also I will be showing a lot more like Rick Rude matches, Kerry Von Erich matches, Jesse Ventura matches, just to kind of broaden the scope a little bit. I know I just recorded a couple weeks ago. We did Larry the Axe matches. We did a couple of those. And of course I have to have Matt back on, and we can shoot the breeze about, wrestling and wrestling in our days. And even stuff that was before our days, because you're not much older than I am, just a little bit.
I mean, my grandpa's mother, so my great grandma, watched Gorgeous George. So I mean, that might be interesting.
There you go. Gorgeous George the Animal Steel. My parents remember Haystacks Calhoun. He was a big dude. So, and I just actually watched, they have on titlematch.com an interview with Larry the Axe Hennig, and he talks about Kurt. Now, I have to say, guys, when he starts talking about his son, he gets very emotional, and more than likely I will get emotional too. So just a little warning that when we do go over that, I'm planning on doing it this Wednesday. We're also going to go for a Rick Rude rib. Yes, Rick Rude rib too. He cheated, but I'll explain later. So I really have to go, guys, but it's been amazing. I think 2024 has really been amazing for us. And you just hang in there, because I think 2025 is just going to be even more spectacular. Matt, do you have any shameless plugs you'd like to do before we go?
Well, check out my book, Liminal Illusion, that just came out on Amazon. And I'm working on another one, but I've got probably 2 scheduled for next year. So that'll be exciting.
Wow. So we even got our author co-host over here. Oh, that way. So yeah, guys, check that out. Go to his website. The link will be in the description field, and, check them out, give them a good read, and, give us feedback. What you guys thought of 2024 and Black Magic Talk. What did it mean for you? I would love to see the comments. And, if you'd like to say something about our guests, by all means, please say something. I know, like I said, I've gotten many, many comments from Sonia Smith fans, a couple for some of the other guests. They really liked one of them, Christopher Lee. What was his name?
Christopher Allen Smith.
Yeah, Alan Smith. Sorry, Chris, if you're watching this.
Oh, Dave Lee. You're talking about Dave Lee because he did. He got a lot of Rumble.
Yes. Yeah. So, give us, excuse me, give us the comments, guys. What does this show mean to you? We love your feedback. We love, the interaction between us and our audience. So, also, what would you like to see for 2025? If there's a guest you would like to request, let us know on YouTube or Rumble in the comment section. If you have someone in mind, or if you would like to become a guest, and you would like, readings or, some kind of whatever from us, or maybe a guest, we can work something out for you. So everyone's description, links will be in the description field. So if you do want to find out more about our guests or about us, you can definitely click on those links. But for now, I hope everyone has a great new year, and especially Matt. Blessed be everybody. Have a good one. Blessed be everyone. Hello. I just want to let everyone know that the outro music is AI generated. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. And also, if you would like to generate your own AI, the link in the description field will be for their website. Blessed be everyone.
In the woods where the whispers run deep, underneath the moon where secrets we keep, she dances in the shadow with the silver tide. Candles flicker soft, guiding light as a guide. Her altar's filled with herbs and old charms, lost in ancient spells, safe in her arms. Stars weave a tapestry across the black sky. With a chalice raised high, she lets out a sigh. With her sacred circle drawn tight, calling to the spirits in the quiet of the night. Her magic's in the earth, the wind, and the seas. She whispers ancient words, swaying like the trees. In a grove of oaks, where the world stands still, she gathers her strength with every Sabbath thrill. The moon's tender gaze, casting shadows cold, the stories of her craft in the twilight retold. The broom by her doorstep, sweeping away all the dark shadows of yesterday. With the cauldron bubbling, herbs to the air, every spell she casts is a heartfelt prayer. With her sacred circle drawn tight, calling to the spirits in the quiet of the night. Her magic's in the earth, the wind, and the seas. She whispers ancient words, swaying like the trees.